can inaccuracy at the register, at the count. You go back to the POS system and enter your amount that you have, and then we expect you to follow it. So what we learned is, once we started doing this, we had an opportunity to get visibility to the expected, the actual, and the variance. And then we educated our district managers to say, monitor these activities, and when there's a variance, like $18, you should call your store manager and ask, have you researched it? Do you know why they're short? What are you doing about it? Now, one thing that's very concerning, if they're right on, you got to question that. One day maybe, but if you then start looking at history and say, wait a minute, out of the 30 days they work, 80% they're right on, there's a chance that they're looking at what their expected is and they're manipulating the system. Once we went to the blind cash out, once we went to all this other opportunity programs, our cash over and short ballooned from $30 to almost $100 a month per store. And that 400% increase happened not because it wasn't always happening, it's just now we had a spotlight to it. So since then, we have made drastic changes in our process, and right now our cash over and short is now back down way below the $30 because we've started to put a spotlight on it, we started holding people accountable, we've actually moved them through the system. Another program that is unique for Caribou is our team member discount policy. We allow each employee that's scheduled on shift to get one free drink, a shift drink. Each week they get a free bag of beans, and then at the and then they get 30% off of their purchase, only their purchase, no one else. The bad thing is we never had visibility to what that was. We didn't know who the recipient was. We just knew that dollars were being dropped into this discount bucket from an accounting purpose. When I started analyzing it, what I discovered is roughly every store was probably doing free drinks, giving away 3 or 4 drinks to their employees each day. Well, that made sense because we usually have 6 or 7 people on shift. Not everybody enjoys coffee and they wouldn't take advantage of it. But I still had to wonder, well, is anybody taking advantage of it? Meaning, is somebody getting more than 1 free drink a day? Would we know that? Well, what happened was we actually went into a store to do an investigation, and I saw something that was like, something's not right. Customer came in order to drink. The employee that rang up the customer was actually the barista. The person who was on the register actually was in the bathroom. So she violated a policy by ringing on her register. 2 is she rang it up, but something didn't look right. It just didn't feel right. So when we had visibility to the transaction, what we discovered is she rang up the drink for the customer gave her the money, but before she did the take payment, she turned it into a shift drink, an employee drink, and she pocketed the money. Again, it shows up as a zero total transaction, doesn't look, nobody would have known. It wouldn't have been an issue. We then decided to develop a true team member discount program, which includes a discount card. So this card is now associated with every employee. It's by their ID, and they have to use that card to even enter into the POS system to get the discount. And what we used in the POS system in PosiTouch was the Country Club account. So now we can track that by recipient, as we call it. So when we did that, when we put that into place, that first year, we literally lowered our shift drink dollars on average as a company by $30,000 to $35,000 per period, per month. And it was amazing that now we discovered who was manipulating the system, who was using it to steal from us, or who wasn't following the policy. The unique thing about that also is we did also learn that some of our employees weren't ringing up their drinks even though they were taking them. So now we've actually changed it to say, instead of you monitoring abuse, because now you can't abuse it, we're asking the store managers, please explain to us how you can only have 1 shift drink ring up in your store for an entire month. It's just not possible. And so now we're highlighting that side of the business. So I'm sorry it's not coming up. What I wanted to show you is, okay, here you go. So right here, for this day, all these employees received 1 shift drink, and you can see their names. So all we have to do is sort it and say, well, wait a minute. These people took advantage of the program. We can work with the DM to start educating people that either you misunderstood the program or you abused it, but either way, now I know who those people are that are not following the program. So actually, exception-based reporting can also be used from a policy violation. So other reports that we've used, we have used specifically the schedule versus actual labor report, and for us, we've used it to validate if maybe a store manager or shift supervisor is manipulating their adjustments. And for us, the way we've taken it is every time we monitor adjustments, if we get a question of, well, wait a minute, they were scheduled to work at 6, somebody told us they showed up at 6:30, but their punch edit says 6, what happened? Well, since we require everybody to use the PO system and time and attendance to enter their punch-in time, what they don't realize is in the time and attendance file, the punch2.dat file is actually, for us, it's time-stamped and you can't change it. Even if they make adjustments, they can't change the actual time they punch in. We were able to discover store managers that would either remove overtime of our employees because they were being tasked to make budget, or they would actually punch in late, but they would change their times to make it look like they were on time. And the opposite end works also. People who left early but then changed their time to make it look like they left according to their scheduled time. We use sales mix report a lot, and part of it is for us, we have what's called a waste or broken sample program. So every food item that we sample or waste or whatever has to be rung in through SKU and all that, but we track it to see who's abusing the program, who's manipulating the program, and kind of the same thing right now. If I'm an employee and I know that if I want to eat a sandwich or whatever, if I ring it in as waste and I eat it, hey, nobody knows different. It is an opportunity we need to fix, but right now that's how we're working on it. Let's see, other reports that we've used, and I'm going to get into an actual date range here. And this is, I don't know if people have access to it, but I think in my bio I made a reference that I used to work for Target stores. And one of the things that I did for Target back in the day is we actually developed our first exception-based reporting around credit cards and gift cards. We knew people were taking advantage of the credit cards, or as we put it, even at refunds, they would refund their own credit card, and that's how they made their payments. So we asked iControl to actually develop a credit card, gift card reporting program. And so as you can see through this, we monitor these key areas. And for us, we don't have a lot of credit card and gift card manipulation, but we've had some. Our biggest one is, there's two. Sometimes our customers will walk in, let's say they have $50 on their gift card, our employee will scan it, and the guest pays for their drink through the card, but through sleight of hand, they give the customer back a different card with no money on it. By the time the guest realized that, and it could be a couple days, this employee now has taken that card and used it to steal cash through all cash transactions. The other thing we do is we do promotions. We will send stores, let's say 100 gift cards loaded for $5 each. If I'm an employee and I get hold of those cards, every time a guest comes in and lays down a $5 bill or above, I'll use this gift card, I'll swipe it, and I can pocket $5 of the, let's say it's an $8 transaction, leave the $2 in there. The register gets full payment. It's a dual payment process. So we started developing a lot of tools to track that. That's why we monitor the gift card balance check, because mainly every time the employee would use the stolen gift card, they would do a balance check on it first. We're looking for any time a credit card or a gift card is manually entered. Why? That's also good for chargebacks with banks, so we've monitored that as well. So hopefully you get a little feel for kind of the big picture of how we monitor things. Once we learn how employees are doing things, we figure ways how we monitor it, how we can control it, how do we remove opportunity. And for loss prevention at Caribou, every time I have operations or marketing coming and saying, we want to do this, but we're worried employees will steal from us by using this, my approach is, one, is there opportunity we can eliminate or reduce? And then once I figure that out, just I'll build an exception around it, and we'll monitor it that way. And if anybody does abuse it, that's how we investigate it. One of the other ones that